Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to jump on really quick because I'm making some breakfast. I'm going to make some sausage biscuits with gravy. So I just browned up my sausage in my cast iron frying pan. I'm going to add in some milk, and then I'm going to add in flour water mixture to thicken it up. I'm going to put my biscuits in the oven, and we're going to have a nice Sunday breakfast. What's everybody having for breakfast this morning? You cooking something good in your kitchen? This is one of the things that my mom used to make when I was younger, and we would fight over. So I'm excited to make it. In a cast iron pan, when you fry the sausage in a cast iron pan, you get all that good taste in the bottom of all your drippings. Go right in here. You see, I want to make it so that it's not too thick with sausage. What's everybody got planned for today? We're gonna grill some pork chops and have some zucchini out of the garden with some potatoes. The oven is ready. So I'm gonna uncheat it and I'm gonna pop in my biscuits. Set my timer. All right, so now I'm going to turn the heat up on my pan a little bit to get this bubbling so that I can add in the flour mixture. Put in a little bit more milk. Whoops, we got dogs. Somebody's probably walking by. That's typically what happens. They get wound up. All right. So now I want to add in a little bit of salt and pepper. Just do like 3 pinches of my salt. Just give it a little bit of flavor. I'm going to put some garlic powder in it as well. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Scott. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Sandy. What's going on? I'm glad to be in Tennessee and not in Florida. Florida is not looking too well for this hurricane. So this was just some garlic powder. We're going to turn up our heat. We're going to get that bubbling a little bit, and then I'm going to add in our flour water mixture to thicken it up. This is an old staple. A lot of people would make this with chipped beef or hamburger. This makes your meal go a little long ways, but it's a good old, I like to call it a comfort food, because if you have gravy, it's all about the comfort. All right. I think we've got enough milk, and then once that starts to get bubbling a little bit, I am going to add in the flour mixture. This will be like a white gravy mixture. And this is just my flour and water. Just made a little bit of a thickening. And this will, once it starts to bubble a little bit, we're getting there. It takes a little bit for the cast iron to get warmed up, but boy, once it does, it definitely retains the heat. So if you've never used cast iron before, you want to start on low and then work your way up until you're comfortable with a medium heat, because if you start out with like a medium heat, it's going to be actually medium high, because the cast iron is going to hold some of that heat in. So if you want to cook on low, then you want to start on low. I usually am good between, low and mid heat. Otherwise, it's too hot. You can see it's starting to get a little bit warmed up there. And you can see the milk has turned the color with the grease from the sausage, which makes that taste really good. Hey Denise, hey Kelsey, how's it going everybody? Thanks for jumping on. I can never get this to boil. All right, I'm turning it up more. I'm getting impatient. You can see it start to steam now, so that's good. And I apologize for the washing machine in the background, making all kinds of racket. We're getting ready. We're gonna have some grilled pork chops and potatoes and some veggies, and my mom and dad and my son are coming over, so we're gonna have a little bit of some chow later on. What's everybody doing today? Let's get this thing going. I can start to feel it thickening on the bottom. And this is one of my, just a big old fork that I like to use. Works out well. One of the things I can definitely say that I have expanded my cooking experience when I joined Pampered Chef. I'm definitely at ease when I conquer a new recipe. I know I used to be very anxious, nervous, wondering if it was going to turn out all right and what was going to be my backup plan B. So now I'm just a little bit more confident, so I'm very happy about that. I definitely will take a leap and try something different for sure. Hey Angie, good morning. All right, so it's starting to bubble now. You can see it's gonna bubble a little bit. So we're gonna let it get really rocking and rolling, and then I'm gonna probably turn our heat down a little bit because I do have it up on like a 6. So it is on very high. Like I said, once it starts going, it's gonna be hot. So I can feel like the bottom of it starting to get a little bit with the milk. So I'm gonna turn it back down. Does anybody else cook with cast iron? Oh, leave the recipe? All it was is I used some Jimmy Dean regular sausage and I browned it in my cast iron pan. And then when it was done browning, I scraped all the goody stuff off the bottom of the pan. Then I added in some milk just to, I don't know, fill it up basically halfway. And then this is just basically 2 tablespoons of flour with some water to make a thickening. And I'm gonna add this in and it's gonna thicken it up. All right, so here we go. Looks like we're ready. So I'm just gonna add it in slowly to keep stirring. And the trick of it is to add it in slowly and then wait, because you wanna see how thick it's gonna get. Now you can see this is still bubbling pretty well, so I'm gonna turn it down even more, because you want it to bubble while you're pouring in your flour, but you also want it to start to thicken, so you want it to cool down a little bit. Once it cools down, it's gonna thicken some more. So it's kind of it's a tricky science, I guess you would call it, because you don't want it too thick and you don't want it too thin. So it's a mixture of the heat and your flour water mixture that's gonna make it your thickness. And our rolls, our biscuits are cooking. We've got 7 minutes left on those, so it looks like our timing is good, because that's one thing you have to worry about in the kitchen is timing, getting everything ready at the same time. I don't know about you, but that's always time is what you're ticking against in the kitchen. I'm adding in a little bit more. This is quite a bit of milk in here, so it doesn't surprise me that I'm going to have to add in. And you want to make sure that you're stirring the entire time you're adding in this flour water mixture. If you don't, you're going to end up with clumps. That's how you get your clumps. So I made sure this was really, really stirred really well. The flour is really disappeared and mixed in with the water well. Our mixture is still not thick, so I'm still gonna keep going. It's looking good though. It's still going to be thickened a little more. And you can see like on the outskirts where it starts, the flour will start to clump in the milk. So you want to stir that down. Keep stirring. Make sure you don't get a lot of clumps. And I can tell it's starting to thicken, but it's still not. You can still see it's still not ready yet. I love making breakfast. It's one of my favorite things to make. I think I could eat breakfast all day long. I know a couple of my friends are the same way. Kayla, she would eat breakfast all day. Look at that. It is getting well. I started out with my my metal spoon so that I could scrape off the bottom, all the goodies off the bottom of my cast iron pan, and I'm just using it very lightly. I'm really not scraping it. You can tell it's getting thicker as it's starting to cool down and as it's still bubbling, but you can tell it's thicker for sure. So I think I'm good. So now I'm gonna kill the heat. So that's gonna start to thicken it even more once it starts to cool down. So I hope everybody has a great Sunday, and I hope you enjoy whatever you're doing today with your family. Thank you very much for stopping in and saying hi, and I wanna wish you a great day. Thanks.